Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the God and Country podcast. This is the third one. It's also going to be a very short one. There's going to be no Bible study for this one because I haven't looked over any notes because I've been busy moving. But we do have two stories, and I want to talk about two individuals which I think have gotten a very bad rap. So the first one is a continuation of the Chick-fil-A stories that we've been covering, and the second one is about Christian witches, which I just found out existed. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the Babylon Bee, for those of you who don't know, is a satirical Christian news page. Posted an article labeled Chick-fil-A now open on Sunday, but only for black people. This is clearly in reference to that really awkward moment where the CEO of Chick-fil-A, Dan Cathy, announced, or he shined a black rapper's shoes on live television and gave him a hug, and it just felt very uncomfortable. Especially, like, for me, it felt very uncomfortable. I could only imagine what it'd be like, just this guy randomly approaching you and to shine your shoes. It starts off with a fake quote from Dan Cathy saying, "We are leading the way towards racial reconciliation in this country," Cathy said, "and everyone knows the best way to achieve racial reconciliation is to segregate black people and make them feel as awkward as possible. Chick-fil-A is dedicated to providing the blacks with a safe space so that they can be properly honored." Again, absolutely ridiculous. It ends by another quote saying, "Chick-fil-A will always be a kind and welcoming place for the blacks, the Chinamen, and those people who wear the red dot on their foreheads. Just please don't steal the sauces and we'll be cool. Or if you want to steal the sauces, that's okay too. We honor you." And then he apologized for serving only white meat and promised to be more diverse in the future. So this is obviously a shot at his clear pandering towards how you say, or towards minority groups a couple of days ago. But people didn't take it that way. People said it was racist. So Jonathan Merritt said on Twitter, "The fact that they chose to publish this on Juneteenth is inexcusable. Good satire is not racist." I'm sure they weren't even thinking of that. Most people didn't even know what Juneteenth was until Trump's rally was supposed to be scheduled for Juneteenth. Pastor Brandon Cox said highly offensive #racism. Carson Wetner said, "You are getting helpful feedback that this article is not good. It is not okay. It is okay to take it down and apologize." The founder, Adam Ford, who allowed it to be posted, defended it. Beth Moore said, "Gross, the most worn out excuse on earth is to say that something is completely ignorant, hateful, and racist, and then claim you were just joking. Racist satire is still racist." And then Adam Ford responded with, "Here are the 3 paragraphs immediately preceding that paragraph, which is garlandly satirical manner, criticized Kathy's over-the-top patronizing, condescending treatment of minorities, which is absolutely true. It was ridiculous. Evidenced by his public shoe shining session, just in case you missed them. So then he actually reads off the whole thing, and I believe the writer said that just because our present circumstances in the world have declared racist the safest, most consequence-free smear you can sling at someone, the term is no less heinous, slanderous, or sinful when falsely employed, which is exactly right. And I'm sure that they said they refuse to apologize or take it down because there's nothing to apologize for, and that is exactly right. It was clearly satirical. And I think Dan Cathy is pretty racist for trying to pull some hot garbage like that. Okay, so next we're going to talk about Christian witches, which I hear is a big thing nowadays. So they had their first annual Christian witch convention in April of 2019. It was absolutely ridiculous. According to press reports, the event will include keynote messages and workshops promoting various practices like money magic. Not sure what that means, but I think it involves creating real money. And I guess that could be interesting. I don't know how the Federal Reserve would handle that, but conference organizers claim the Bible is a book of magic and a book of sorcery. The basis for their beliefs and practices, despite years of Bible study, I haven't yet found the recipe for magic money. Well, I don't know if you're familiar with The Legend of Zelda, but when it was brought over to the United States, it was originally a Christian game, but then they took out all of the references, so the magic book is actually supposed to be the Bible. So maybe that's where they got their inspiration from. Conference leaders insist Jesus is an example of a supernatural miracle worker. Technically true. A sorcerer who knew how to set aside natural law and accomplish magical results. They claim they can do similar works by tapping into deeper knowledge available through non-traditional religious practices. Again, not sure where they get those from, but I digress. The big event will culminate with the first ever Christian witches celebration of Easter Sunday. This is unfortunately not an April Fool's joke, although some people were trying to say it is. I think this is extremely disturbing for me. That means, yeah, it's just crazy. I don't even know what to think about that. At least they're not getting burned at the stake anymore, but again, I have no idea how to feel about this. But anyway, let's get into what I really wanted to talk about today, which is two people who I was told were Uncle Tom's absolutely racist bigots. Just absolutely terrible people. That's what I was told when I first heard about them. The first one that we're going to talk about is the Officer Tatum, and the second one is Anthony Brian Logan. And I gotta say, let me just say that there were like black and white conservatives that were saying how racist these people were, how they were just big Uncle Toms, and how they were just selling out to the white man. Like, some high profile black conservatives have been saying this about them, and it's just like, what? So then I like decided to look up who they were, and I found out that they weren't racist. So we're gonna look at their two videos that I think people could like just read the title of them and then say, wow, that is such an Uncle Tom coon racist bigot. But let's just get into it. So this first one is Officer Tatum. The title of the video is Michelle Obama's white flight comments prove she is a racist.
Some of the greatest amount of spending power, but we don't reinvest in our own communities. Let's move on. Big head Michelle Obama. Why don't you talk about black flight? Michelle, why don't you talk about black flight? Where do you and Barack live at? Y'all don't live with the black folks, y'all live with the white folks. Mostly every successful black man in America have moved to live with white people, where it's safe. And I'm not saying exclusively it's not safe around black people, but if you want to make that argument, it seems as if it's safer around white people because that's where you move. You didn't move to the south side of Chicago. You ain't moved to Potts. And to be honest, if a lot of millionaires move into these areas, it'll bring the property value up. But y'all not going to move there. You're going to go live with all the white people and then complain about it. Why come black people don't live in their own community once they make it? And then another thing she said, which blew my mind, is because she openly admitted how hypocritical she is. She said the white people move out of the community and then the community starts to degrade.
But yet, one by one, they packed their bags and they ran from us. And they left communities in shambles.
Well, if white people move out and it's primarily black and it starts to go to crap, that should tell you something. Maybe they made a good investment choice by moving out of the community where knuckleheads are coming in and ruining the community. Let me give you a perfect example. I lived in Crowley with my father, Crowley, Texas, for a period of time. When we lived out there, it was mostly middle-class blacks and middle-class whites. Mostly white, obviously because the population was mostly white, but it was black and white, a very diverse community, very nice, people walking their dogs. They moved the projects over into the community, and then it went to crap. Property value went down. People getting their cars broken into. Now the sports teams went up, but crime and everything else went down. Now, there was some black flight going on too. So it's not white flight and black flight. It's that when poor people move in, and they begin to bring in things that devalue the community, people that have common sense and economical intelligence know that it will behoove you to move out of this community to a better community because this community is getting ready to change. It has nothing to do with white versus black. It has everything to do with poor versus people who have economic sense or economic, economic proficiency. That's the word I was looking for. So, man, I think it's absolutely disgusting that Michelle Obama will come out and say this. I'm not shocked because this is the way the liberals...
Okay, so that was the Officer Tatum. It was fine. I didn't see anything that I said was racist. There are a lot of people who would say, well, that's not true. I'm sure that those would be white people who love to white knight for helpless minorities that need their help. But of course we know that we don't need their help. All we need is Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, who was probably Middle Eastern, or at darkest my skin, at lightest also my skin underneath this shirt, which is very much lighter than my skin that's out in the sun. But next is Anthony Brian Logan, who apparently is racist, so I don't think so. But the black woman says obesity is racist. So he's commenting on a video of a black woman talking about how like we live in the Trump era and like how that's making her fat and stuff. uh, let's just watch the video.
Slim, slender, fit, chipper, all that kind of good stuff under the Barack Obama years. Maybe I really don't agree with that. You're like going along with it. This is ridiculous. This is totally absurd. But how are you going to even mention Donald Trump in your argument, I guess, to say that obesity is not your fault? By the looks of things, I don't think this young lady was slim, slender, fit, chipper, all that kind of good stuff under the Barack Obama years. I'm just going to go out on a limb. I know I've seen her before. I think I did a video about her. Now, do you have seen that video I did about her or somebody that looks kind of like her? You let me know in the comments. But anyway, I don't think she was like the face of physical fitness in 2014 or something like that. This has probably been going on for a very long time, but I digress. How are you going to blame anybody else for what you have done to yourself or what you do not do for yourself? All right? And we got to talk about this argument of income inequality and poverty being akin to obesity. When you don't have money, you're not going to be able to eat. You go to third world countries, you don't see 400-pound people talking about I'm poor because they don't have money, they don't have access to food. If you're truly in poverty, you're not going to have food, period. When I was really broke, didn't have money, I was really slim. Like right now, I'm probably about 225. But back then, when I didn't have any money, I'm like 180, maybe like 175, something like that, because I'm eating a small amount of food per day. And you can eat healthy with a small amount of money, okay? You can have rice, beans, broccoli, chicken breast. I've done it.
So yeah, that's that video. He didn't say anything that was racist. There is a trend with poor people in general to just eat unhealthy, so that could do that. And then of course they're under high stress if they're in high crime areas all the time because they don't know if they're gonna pop around the corner and get shot. But that's not a race issue, that's just a class issue. But yeah, I don't think they're racist. I think they get a really bad rap, which I think they should really fix. I don't know how you go about fixing it. There's no anyone who the left hates, I've come to understand, is probably a good person. But the people like, oh, I just don't like them, those are the people that they agree with because they're on their own side, but they don't want to like go after them. Like Yale University, for example. Like, no one is going to take down or protest at Yale, destroy the statues, because that is like a prime leftist institution. But Ulysses Grant, which is one of the greatest presidents of all time, had his statues are getting torn down. He's getting canceled, even though he is fundamental in reshaping America to be more inclusive towards black people. Just ridiculous. But yeah, that's all I have today. If you like this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I thank you for watching. Hello. Thank you for watching this video by Life with Christ. If you enjoyed this video, please consider like, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Thank you, and God be with you.